There we go. Should be working. Let me post on my Twitter. And there we go. Let's see, is there anything else I want to do before we get started? Guess I can make sure that this is working properly, and it looks like it is. Perfect. Hopefully people start showing up soon. Hey Exodus, how are you? I'm gonna finish up the set review hopefully tonight. We might have some guests show up, we might not. It's looking like not, but you know what? You know what? I should see if Aberdash wants to show up. Hey Aber. This Aberdash is pretty cool. What's up tonight? We're going to be reviewing red, green, multicolor, and colorless for Eternal Masters. That's what we're going to do. Yep. Yeah, I want to wait a little bit for some people to show up and chat before we really get going. Have you watched the spoilers at all, Exodus, or no? Yeah. What do you think so far? By the way, if you want to see the spreadsheet that we've been working on, you can check it out here. And it will also allow you, if you'd like, to add comments. Don't abuse that function, but yeah, once we have probably like 10, 15 people in the viewers, we'll get started. In the meantime, if people have favorite cards or anything in particular they want to talk about or any ideas, Feel free to, you know, comment. Let me know what you think, because I want to fill this time somehow. Looks great. Emerge is really good. Yeah, it seems like Emerge is going to be the real deal. And it has a lot of setup, too. Like, there's a lot of cards that are planted to make it work. Are there any cards you feel like you are very on the fence about, Exodus? Link to previous reviews. So if you want, you can check my old Twitch VODs. There should be yesterday's stream there. But I'm also planning on posting these to YouTube. So if you want to check it out, you can. But I can also post the spreadsheet for you. So if you want to watch the video, I'll be posting it to YouTube, or you can watch on Twitch. Either way is fine. Or you can just check the spreadsheet and get the summary. And I've been trying to put in notes on everything. This time around, I did a lot more prep work in making the review go more seamlessly. I spent a lot of time on this overlay or overview. Or the OBS settings and all that. So, took some time, but I think it's worth it. How's it going, Miss Katana? By the way, I did also just book my tickets to Montreal and my GP entries, so I will be at GP Montreal. So if you're going there, you can meet up. We can meet up. This is for limited only, yeah. These are ratings for limited. Definitely not for constructed. I'm not much of a constructed player, even after a little practice that I've had recently. I'm still not that great. Anyways, we have some people. Why don't we get started? So feel free, by the way. I wanna ping ideas off of chat, and I wanna address what people think. So feel free to talk and make your opinions known. This is a put down free zone, so don't shit on people for their opinions. But yeah, so the more you engage, the more interesting this will be, and this will be on YouTube later. All right, so Abandoned Reason, 2 in a red. It's an instant, and it says up to 2 target creatures each get +1/+0 and gain first strike until end of turn. So, and it also has Madness for 1 in a red, which is kind of cool actually. Madness there is I think overall probably fewer cards, fewer Madness cards, but there's a higher concentration of them in red than there used to be. So red seems to be the color that really wants to be discarding things and madnessing them. It used to be kind of like Grixis colors in general, but now it's mostly just red. I think there's 1 card in blue and maybe 1 card in black that have madness, and that's it in the set. But as a combat trick, this isn't too bad. I mean, this is if you want a combat trick, if you're playing an aggressive red deck or an aggressive green deck, this card goes up in value. You don't want too many of this kind of thing, but this can be a blowout, definitely. So yeah, I don't know. I don't hate this. One thing that's worth considering is that this is a way to beat the giant Eldrazi in combat with first strike. But obviously you are risking a bit of a blowout if you do that. Yeah, there are a lot of... Agreed, Duckstar. There's a lot of Madness enablers, but less Madness cards. Having said that, Duckstar, the Madness cards go up in value due to that. And also worth considering is that even though there's less cards, there's also less Madness cards, there's also less cards overall. So I don't know where to rate this exactly. It's better than Sure Strike, but I don't think it's like a super premium trick. So I'd call it like a C+ probably. Oh, I should remind people of the rating system once I put this in. Let's call this a good trick, but you only want a few of these. So let me remind people of the rating system. I have it posted here. If you're on the spreadsheet and you want to check it out for yourself, you can click this link. A's are cards that warp the game around them. So they're cards that, you know, you see them and you're like, holy shit, this card is unbelievable. Cards like Archangel Avacyn would be considered an A. A card like Citadel Siege is an A, like, or maybe A+ for both those cards. Tireless Tracker would be an A because it warps the game. You know, you play it and then every land you play basically draws you a card. That's pretty sick value. Cards like that are A's. B's are cards that might be rewards for being in a color but aren't inherently game warping on their own unless they're very well supported. So what would a good example be for a B? Perhaps, let's see, Fiery Temper is probably a B, though that's almost pushing into A range. But yeah, it's probably in the B range. What else could we put as a B? I'm trying to think. Bygone Bishop might be a B, maybe. That might be A range. Kindly Stranger, yeah, that's a good example of a B, I agree. Yep. You know, card that you're really happy to have in your deck, but isn't going to necessarily take over the game or warp the game unless, you know, it's pretty rare conditions. C's are just your average draft cards. They're cards that you're happy to play most of the time, but they don't excite you, usually. They can be very powerful sometimes, but usually only in niche situations. And yeah, like a lot of curve filler cards are going to be in the C range. Like a 2/2 with minor upside would be, a 2/2 for 2 with minor upside would be a C. D's are cards that you're generally not very happy to play unless they're being played in some niche use, or you just need to fill the curve somehow, and you know you needed to throw it in there. That would be what I would grade a D as. F's, just don't play them. They're bad in 99% of occasions. There might be a deck where it is correct to play them. I think one card that a lot of people rated an F, for example, was Shadows of the Past. If you played Magic Origins at all, Shadows of the Past was a 2-mana enchantment that whenever a creature died, you'd scry one, and you could pay 5 mana if there were enough creatures in your yard. You know, if you paid 5 mana, you could drain 2. It wasn't a very good card in the format, and some people rated it as an F or very low D. But you could play it in some shells if you had enough removal and you had enough of a stalling ground game, though it was pretty rare. Then there's sideboard and build around cards. So these are kind of their own special categories, and we'll talk about them when they come up, but they don't come up too often. By the way, we might have a guest, so hang on a minute while I really quick make a little guest icon for him. Because I've been trying, I've made a few icons for